We will now start discussing about Group 2A elements. Group 2A elements are also known as alkaline earth metals. Members under this group are the following: beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, and radium. Please take note of the elemental symbol of the elements we had discussed. So again, all these elements, they are also considered alkaline earth metals. Ito yung metals, elements na katabi ng group 1A elements. And yung tawag sa mga group 1A elements again are the alkali metals. So yun yung si lithium, si sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium. Okay? And for group 2A, alkaline earth metals naman. And since katabi nila yung group 1A, somehow itong mga elements na to on the list, they almost carry the same similar properties to that of alkali metals, wherein metals under this group, they are also said to be reactive. Diba? I have mentioned na yung mga alkali metals, they are most reactive. Since katabi nila yung mga group 2A elements, somehow meron din silang reactivity property. So they are also considered reactive, but not as reactive than group 1A elements. Most reactive pa rin yung mga group 1A elements. So since meron silang reactivity property, we suppose na yung mga metals in this group do not occur in nature in its free metallic state. So the same thing with group 1A elements. Also, itong mga elements under group 2A, they are said to be divalent. Divalent sila in nature. Ibig sabihin ng divalent, during chemical reaction, during chemical combination, they loses two electrons. Okay, they loses two electrons or valence electrons, forming a positive 2 oxidation state. Again, they loses two electrons during chemical combination. That is why they form a positive 2 plus 2 na charge or oxidation state. Diba? Kung naaalala nyo, kung titingnan nyo yung list ng mga cations, for beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium, positive 2 yung charges nila. Kasi, normally, when they undergo chemical reactions, they always loses two valence electrons for them to be stable. Also, another properties, general properties ng mga group 2A elements, they are considered strong reducing agent. So, strong reducing agent din sila. So, binigay ko na yung mnemonics para maalala kung ano yung mga important or essential information to know about reducing agents. Okay? So, pero kung i-compare naman sa group 1A elements, they are not as strong reducing agent as the elements under group 1A. Okay? And sabi dito, take note, all alkaline earth metals, they reduce water, liberating hydrogen gas and forming alkaline solution in a form of hydroxide. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, the same with alkaline metals, they react with water, okay, liberating hydrogen gas and forming hydroxide alkaline solution. Kaya nga, generally, ang pangalan ng group 2A elements alkaline din. Alkaline because they form basic compounds. They form alkaline compounds. Say for example, si magnesium. Si magnesium, upon reacting with water, it is able to liberate hydrogen gas and form the hydroxide in a form of magnesium hydroxide. Okay, which is alkaline in nature. Diba? Para malaman natin na hydroxide siya by just looking at the chemical formula. Pag may hydroxide, basic yan. Okay, hydroxide, basic yan, meaning it accepts proton during chemical reaction. Okay, now when it comes to its alkalinity, the same lang din sa group 1A elements wherein yung alkalinity increases or basicity increases as the atomic number increases. Okay? So again, directly proportional. So ibig sabihin, kung sino yung may highest atomic number on the list, it forms higher or it forms a stronger, okay, basic compound. A strong basic compound. Alkalinity yan. Alkalinity or basicity. So the same concept with group 1A elements. Okay? The same with chemical reactivity. Yung chemical reactivity ng elements under group 2A, increasing din yung chemical reactivity niya as the atomic number increases. So, looking at the list, since naka-group siya, vertical, going down, when we go down a group, ayan, we suppose na increasing yung atomic number. Again, going down a group, syempre increasing yung atomic number. So, sa list, the one with the list na atomic number, lower ang atomic number on this list of elements is beryllium. Therefore, we expect na for beryllium, it will form it will form a weak basic compound or a list basic hydroxide salt. Okay, that is based on this relationship. Based on this relationship, higher daw yung alkalinity na mapuproduce or stronger basic hydroxide salt yung mapu-form if higher yung atomic number. And since on the list man yung very least, siya yung may pinaka-lower atomic number on the list, so si beryllium will form a weak basic hydroxide salt. So that's it for the general properties ng mga group 2A elements. So we will now start discussing the properties of each of these elements, okay, of alkaline earth metals. Then what are the important compounds of each of them? So we'll start with beryllium. Beryllium is considered the most toxic metal. So pag sinabing toxic, di ba, poisonous metal. Therefore, since poisonous siya, toxic siya, we would expect na wala siyang clinical benefit na mai-offer sa humans. Di ba? Again, because of its toxicity property, it has no therapeutic use. It has no pharmaceutical use. That is why we will not be studying compounds under beryllium. Okay, so just familiarize or at least read its industrial use. Okay, so these are the industrial uses of beryllium. Okay, so again, since toxic siya, wala siyang pharmaceutical use, no physiological use. For its property ng beryllium, say for example, beryllium hydroxide, amphoteric yan in property. Okay, amphoteric siya. Characteristic niya, amphoteric. Na-introduce ko na yung term na amphoteric, di ba? Ibig sabihin, yung substance na yan, kapag amphoteric, it acts either as acid or base. Magkaiba yung neutral sa amphoteric. Na-discuss ko na rin yun. Okay, so just scan over your notes regarding the term amphoteric. So si beryllium, some of the compounds ng beryllium, meron siyang amphoteric property. It acts as either an acid or base, depende sa chemical reaction. Okay? Also, bridge element din siya. Again, bridge element din yung beryllium. So, no problem din about the term bridge element. Kasi na-introduce ko na din siya under lithium na discussion. Diba? Pag sinabing bridge element, ito yung diagonal relationship. Again, ito yung diagonal relationship that only exists between certain pairs of diagonally adjacent elements in the second period and on the third period of the periodic table. Okay, so una kong na-introduce yung bridge element under lithium. Okay, so we're in, sabi ko, di ba si lithium, bridge element siya ni magnesium. Okay, so for beryllium, ka-diagonal relationship niya, ibig sabihin, si beryllium meron siyang resemblance in property. Meron siyang resemblance in property with that of aluminum. Okay? With that of aluminum. Then for boron, with silicon, carbon with phosphorus. So yan yung ibig sabihin ng diagonal relationship. It only exists between pairs of diagonally adjacent elements in the second period and third period of the periodic table. Okay, so kung ka-diagonal relationship sila, somehow meron silang mga resemblance in property. Okay, so for beryllium, aluminum. Beryllium, aluminum. Lithium, magnesium. Lithium, magnesium. So that's it for beryllium. Let us now proceed to magnesium. Okay, for magnesium, this is the second most abundant cation in the intracellular fluid. So, na-introduce ko na rin to, di ba? Mnemonics natin dito is MICO. Di ba? MICO, yung MI dyan, magnesium in. Ibig sabihin, yung second most abundant cellular cation inside ng cell is si magnesium ion. So, normally, makikita yung magnesium ion inside ng cell, okay? Inside ng cell membrane. Okay, magnesium ion. Yung CO dyan, calcium yan. Again, yung calcium dyan, calcium outside naman. Okay, siya yung second major cation outside ng cellular fluid. Okay. Also, yung magnesium element, based on abundancy sa Earth's crust, siya yung pangwalo na most abundant element in the Earth's crust. Again, pang-8 siya na most abundant element in the Earth's crust. When we talk about the abundancy of elements in the Earth's crust, based niya siya sa update sa World Atlas na updates information. So kung pangwalo siya, ibig sabihin may nauna sa kanya. So ano ba yung pinaka most abundant element sa Earth's crust? Okay, tandaan. Ang most abundant element in the Earth's crust, okay, una dyan is oxygen. And that is followed by silicon, then aluminum, okay, pang-apat is yung iron, then pang-5 yung calcium, pang-6 yung sodium, pang-7 yung potassium, pang-8 na doon si magnesium, then titanium, then pang-10th is si hydrogen. Okay? Hydrogen ha, pang-10 siya na most abundant element sa Earth's crust. Okay? Again, sa Earth's crust lang ha, Earth's crust. Abundancy ng element sa Earth's crust. Pero, pag universe naman, most abundant element sa universe, si hydrogen. Again, kung universe na, yung titingnan, na basihan, pinaka-abundant ngayon is si hydrogen. Pero sa Earth's crust, pang 10th siya. 10th abundant elements. Okay, 10th abundant elements yung hydrogen. Again, this is based on the World Atlas update. Okay? Then, magnesium is also, ayan, the lightest of all structurally important metal. Pinaka lightest of all structurally important metal. Okay? Pero yung lightest of all elements in the periodic table, si hydrogen pa rin. Again, we're talking here the lightest of all structurally important metal. Also, magnesium, ayan, erase ko na ha. Si magnesium as well is the major physiological ion found in chlorophyll. Again, major na physiological ion found in chlorophyll. Kung titingnan mo yung structure ng chlorophyll, one of the most important role ni magnesium is that it acts as a central atom. Okay? It acts as a central atom in the structure of chlorophyll. So si chlorophyll, isa siyang organic compound. Okay? So ayan. Ano ba yung importance ni chlorophyll? Si chlorophyll, that is a plant pigment. Pigment niyan, okay, sa plants yan, parte ng plants, that gives the plants their green color. Okay? So the reason bakit yung plants kulay green, majority ng plants kulay green, that is because of its chlorophyll, and that is also the reason yung pigment na yan that carries out the process of photosynthesis ng plants. Again, it is the chlorophyll that carries out the process photosynthesis sa plants. Okay? So yung magnesium dito, central atom ng structure of chlorophyll. Other functions of magnesium in plants as well, other functions ng magnesium in plants as well is that it aids in the activation of plant enzymes. Again, activator din siya, enzyme activator din siya. Plant enzyme activator. Diba yung term natin? Basta enzyme activator, cofactor. Okay? Basta gani enzyme activator, nag-activate, nag-cause ng activation ng mga enzymes, cofactors yan. Okay? So, ayan. Which is very important. Enzymes, very important yan for plants, ha? Plant enzymes, they are very important for growth ng plants. Okay? So, for magnesium ion, cofactor daw siya or enzyme activator ng mga phosphate transferring enzyme. Example ng mga phosphate transferring enzyme is yung kinase. Okay, kinase. Yan yung example ng phosphate transferring enzyme. Ibig sabihin, phosphate yung dala-dala niya. Dala-dala ng enzyme to be transferred on a particular compound of interest. Okay? So again, cofactor, magnesium ion. Meron din akong na-discuss na cofactor na group 1A element, di ba si potassium. Ayun, kung naaalala nyo, na-introduce ko na yung term na cofactor, isang enzyme activator. Cofactor is an enzyme activator. Under potassium na element, na-discuss ko to, yung cofactor. So, ang very important yung cofactor kasi yung enzyme, yung mga biological catalyst, they will be rendered inactive, they will be rendered useless kung walang activator. Okay, so kailangan pa silang i-activate with the use of cofactors. Also, magnesium is a constituent of bones and teeth. Again, ang magnesium ion, constituent siya ng bones and teeth. So somehow, ang atong bones and teeth na yung mga traces of magnesium element. May mga traces of magnesium element. Also, a very important component ng Grignard reagent is si magnesium. Okay? Yung Grignard reagent, yung formula niya in general is RMGX. RMGX. Ayan. Okay. So, erase ko muna ha. Again, R MgX. So, yan yung general. General yan na formula ng Grignard reagent. Okay, Grignard reagent. This is actually an organic chemical reagent. Okay, organic siya na chemical. So, mas ma-introduce natin to by next semester pag organic chemistry na. Basta yung Grignard idea lang regarding Grignard reagent, very important to for the conversion of a particular organic functional group into another functional group. Okay, particularly kina-convert niya yung aldehydes. These are organic compounds, these are organic compounds or ketones. Kina-convert niya yan into alcohol. Alcohol, any compound with OH. Okay, any organic niya or any organic compound with OH na functional group, meaning meron niyang alcohol. Okay, so yan yung basic na knowledge about Grignard reagent. Isa siyang organic chemical reagent containing magnesium. Kaya nga sinabi dito, di ba, component si magnesium ng Grignard reagent, isang organic chemical reagent. Very important for the conversion of a particular organic functional group, and those are aldehydes and ketone, into alcohol. And that is via the process of reduction. Ayan. So again, magnesium, another important information about it, component siya ng Grignard reagent. Grignard reagent. Okay? For the production method of magnesium, ang tawag doon is Dow process. Dow process. Okay, wherein magnesium is usually obtained by electrolysis of a molten chloride. Molten chloride. So, yan yung production method for magnesium. Okay, so meron na akong tatlong production method na na-introduce sa inyo. Yung production method ng water, production method ng ammonia. So, balikan niyo yun, ha? Balikan niyo yun. Okay, next is, okay, regarding the qualitative analysis of magnesium. Okay, if we are to identify in a laboratory setting, if we are to identify a particular sample containing magnesium ion, if we wanted to confirm, to detect if meron ba talagang magnesium ion in that particular sample, we can use the following qualitative test. Okay, we can have this reagent, diphenyl carbazide, or we can use oxine, okay, chemically known as 8-hydroxyquinoline, or we can use quinalizarin, or a paranitrobenzene resorcinol. So these particular qualitative test reagent, meron silang mga particular color that indicates the positive result if na-detect yung magnesium ion in a sample. Okay? So for a sample solution containing magnesium, if added with diphenyl carbazide, ang positive result, ayan, violet red color solution. Again, if ang isang sample merong magnesium ion, say for example in a form of magnesium chloride or in a form of magnesium nitrate, if added with diphenyl carbazide, positive result detecting magnesium ion is a violet red color. If naman added with oxine, yung positive result dyan is, ayan, yellow precipitate. Again, yellow precipitate yung positive result. If a sample containing magnesium is added with oxine. Okay, yan yung positive result na, okay, merong magnesium ion in that particular sample. Okay, next, quinalizarin. For quinalizarin agent, ayan, kulay blue precipitate naman. Kulay blue precipitate or kakulay niya yung corn flour. Kakulay niya yung pagka-blue ng corn flour. Kulay blue kasi yung corn flour. So, yan yung positive result. If added naman with quinalizarin. Okay, detecting magnesium ion. And lastly is yung Magneson. Okay? So this is another reagent, another solution to confirm magnesium ion in a solution. So yung magneson, 1, or this is chemically known as a para-nitrobenzene resorcinol. Para-nitrobenzene resorcinol. Isa itong colored chemical. Colored chemical. So dye stuff siya. Dye stuff to detect again magnesium ion. Obvious naman sa term niya, di ba? Magneson 1. So yung dinedetect niya in a sample during qualitative test is magnesium ion. And ano yung positive result kapag na-detect yung magnesium in a sample? It forms a blue lake solution. A blue lake solution. Parang heavy. Sobrang heavy yung pagka-blue niya. That's why blue lake solution. Okay? So, ito yung mga example. Few of the most common qualitative test reagent to identify magnesium ion in a sample. Okay? So, yan. Now, let us proceed to the pharmacologic action naman. For its pharmacologic action. Pag pharmacologic action ulit ha, ito yung mga action, yung activity, yung effect. Okay, yung epekto, yung response ng substance if ginamit siya as gamot, if ginamit siya as medicine. Okay? So kapag in-administer siya sa body. Okay? Ito yung mga posibleng effect niya, posibleng response sa body natin. Okay? So una, laxative effect. Okay. For magnesium containing compound, if they are administered orally, ibig sabihin ng orally by mouth, okay, gi-administer siya by mouth, okay, ang effect niyan sa body is laxative. So yan yung tandaan nyo ha, basta magnesium containing compound, if given orally, example, magnesium hydroxide, magnesium carbonate, okay, magnesium sulfate, meron niyang laxative effect. Okay, tandaan niyo lang yung mnemonics na tae. Di ba? Magnesium, pinapatae ka. Okay, magtae. Okay? That's why merong laxative. Di ba pag sinabing laxative, increase yung bowel movement. So, magnesium-containing compound, if given orally by mouth, laxative effect. So, somehow, meron siyang diarrhea na side effect. Di ba? Pag diarrhea, palabas yung bowel. Di ba? Palabas yung stool. Ayan. Next, depressant. Meron ding depressant activity or let's say anticonvulsant. Parehas lang yan, anticonvulsant activity. Yung magnesium-containing compounds. Example, magnesium sulfate. Okay, example, magnesium sulfate. So, merong magnesium ion, magnesium sulfate in particular, that is an anticonvulsant. Pero, if given lang parenterally, usually intramuscularly. Again, so kung parenteral ha, hindi enteral, parenteral, meaning injected or via intramuscular injection or administration, yung epekto ng magnesium, example, magnesium sulfate is depressant effect or anticonvulsant effect. Okay, kumbaga pang pakalma. Okay, anti-convulsion. Bali, gina-depress niya yung body functioning natin. Gina-depress niya yung CNS or Central Nervous System functioning natin. Ayan. Then, for the ions, kanang normal ions, diba yung magnesium, sabi nga, this is this is an ion, physiological ion in the cellular fluid, particularly second most abundant na cation in the cellular fluid, intracellular fluid. Okay? So, yung magnesium ion in our body physiologically, isa siyang natural calcium channel blocker. Okay? So, binablock niya. Ino-oppose niya yung calcium ion in the cell, yung entrance ng calcium ion in the cell. That is why we could say na when it comes to relationship, yung relationship nila dalawa, di ba? For example, pag andyan si magnesium, ibig sabihin, pag andyan si magnesium ha, example, pag andyan si magnesium, okay, or mataas yung level ng magnesium, ions, physiologically, in the physiological fluids, baba yung calcium ion. Yun yung ibig sabihin. Okay? Yun yung ibig sabihin. Okay? So, natural calcium channel blocker. Huwag kalimutan ha, naturally, calcium channel blocker yung effect niya. Natural calcium channel blocker. Therefore, kapag na-toxic ka, okay, kung may toxic level ka na sa magnesium, example, may hypomagnesemia, diba? I mean hypermagnesemia, kapag may hypermagnesemia, mataas yung magnesium sa blood. How will you counteract, or what will you do to manage the toxicity of magnesium ion? Since inversely proportional sila with calcium, pataasin mo yung calcium level. Diba? Tapos, para bumaba yung magnesium. Ayan. So, yan yung relationship nila. Inversely proportional yung relationship ng magnesium tsaka calcium. So, dalawa na yung inversely proportional relationship yung na-discuss ko. 'Di ba? Yung phosphate tsaka yung calcium, inversely proportional din in the body based on the bone and mineral homeostasis, based on the activation or response ng parathyroid hormone. Pag andyan yung calcium, baba yung phosphate. Pag itaas yung calcium, baba yung phosphate. Pag taas yung phosphate, baba yung calcium. The same principle, the same concept with magnesium tsaka calcium. Since natural calcium channel blocker, okay, blocker, yung magnesium ion, okay, somehow, ino-oppose niya yung calcium ion. Ino-oppose niya yung calcium ion. Okay? So, ayan. That is why nakalagay dito, di ba, as antidote. Antidote kapag may magnesium poisoning, kapag may magnesium poisoning, you can have calcium gluconate. You can have calcium gluconate administered parenterally. Ayan, calcium gluconate. Then for the natural sources, ito yung mga mineral sources. Mineral sources ng magnesium ion. So mga naturally produced minerals containing magnesium ion. So yung magnesium ion, it can occur as silicates. Pwede siyang mag-occur as silicates, so as magnesium silicates. Example, yung talc. Okay? Yan yung talc. Ito. Ayan. Then, pwede din as asbestos. Okay? So as silicates, pwedeng talc, asbestos talc. This is commonly known as native hydrous magnesium silicate. Asbestos naman, ito yung hydrous magnesium silicate. Please take note of the other names, okay, or the common names. Also, yung magnesium ion natural source niya pwede as carbonates. It can occur in nature in a form of carbonates. Example, magnesium carbonate. Magnesium carbonate. So, yan yung magnesite. Magnesite is also known as magnesium carbonate. Yung dolomite, magnesium carbonate din siya, but with calcium. Calcium magnesium carbonate. So, ito naman yung magnesite, then dolomite. Magnesite, dolomite. Okay, so 'di ba mga minerals, mga naturally occurring minerals ng magnesium. So meron yang mga magnesium content, magnesium mineral. Okay? Then lastly, ayan, caesarite. Ito naman yung ayan. Ito naman yung magnesium ion that occur as sulfate. So magnesium sulfate monohydrated. Okay, so ito yung mga natural, few of the natural sources of magnesium ion. So at this juncture, let us now proceed to the important compounds of magnesium. So we will start with magaldrite. Magaldrite, from the word mag, from the word magnesium, mag, then al for aluminum, then drate for the hydrates. Okay, so combination siya ng a compound of hydrates of aluminum and magnesium. Again, yung magaldrite, combination siya of compound of hydrates of aluminum and magnesium, usually in the form of aluminum hydroxide. Nakasulat na, ayan. Aluminum hydroxide or magnesium hydroxide or magnesium sulfates, aluminum sulfates. Yan yung mga usual form ng hydrates. Usual form ng hydrates of magnesium and aluminum. Pinaka-common dyan is yung hydroxides. So, yan yung aluminum hydroxide. And we have magnesium hydroxide. Okay. Okay. So, ayan. Okay. Again, magaldrite combination of compound of hydrates of aluminum and magnesium. Usually, hydrates in a form of aluminum hydroxide and magnesium hydroxide or aluminum sulfate and magnesium sulfate. Ano yung use nila? Antacid. Non-systemic naman talaga usually yung mga antacid kasi yung action nila sa body, neutralization lang. Diba, gina-neutralize nila yung stomach acidity. Then, excrete na yun in the body. So, ito yung example ng preparation of magaldrite. Diba? Magaldrite, so antacid siya. Antacid. Okay? Yung simethicone dyan, usually kasi yung mga antacids is added with simethicone. Ang simethicone, that is an anti-gas. Okay? Anti-gas or anti-flatulent. Okay? Ibig sabihin ng anti-flatulent, anti-gas, nagpapalabas siya. Pinapalabas niya yung extra gas. Yung parang bloated feeling natin sa stomach, nang murag bloated ka. Na kay mga extra gas ana inyong sa imuhang intestine. Okay, so pinapalabas yan ng simethicone. Okay, to treat bloating. So yan yung purpose of adding simethicone sa mga antacids. Okay, anti-flatulent, anti-gas. So for magaldrite, tandaan nyo lang magnesium, al for aluminum, then hydrates. Okay, hydrates in the form of hydroxide or sulfates. Ayan. So, antacid siya, anti-acid. Mostly, magnesium-containing compound, antacid siya or laxative. By the way, please take note nga kapag ang magnesium, dito na lang. Please take note na kapag ang magnesium containing compound, containing compound, this is used in a solo therapy, meaning, solo use lang ng magnesium hydroxide. Solo use lang ng magnesium hydroxide preparation. Wala nang kasamang aluminum hydroxide, okay? So, solo use lang ng magnesium containing compound. If solo use, meron siyang side effect na diarrhea. Pero hindi naman grabe. That is because of its laxative effect. Diba sabi natin kanina, magnesium-containing compound, if orally taken, syempre ang antacid, orally taken naman talaga yung mga anti-acid, diba? Chewable, tablet naman mostly, or in a suspension form, in a solution form, yung antacid. So, iniinom yan by mouth. Okay? So, ayan. So, meron siyang laxative effect. Kaya nga, kaakibat niya na side effect is diarrhea. Kaya nga magtae. So tandaan ha, if solo use of magnesium containing compound, meron siyang side effect, drawback na diarrhea. Tandaan niyo lang yung magtae. Magtae. Okay? Pero, in this preparation, sa magaldrate, di ba merong aluminum? Okay? Aluminum in a form of aluminum hydroxide. So, somehow, merong magka-counteract sa diarrhea, magbabalance sa diarrhea na side effect. Kasi, yung aluminum naman, tandaan, yung aluminum kasi, aluminum containing naman na compound used as antacid, yung side effect naman nila, side effect, please take note, constipation. Diba? Opposite yung constipation tsaka diarrhea kasi constipation, hirap kang maglabas ng stool. Diarrhea, pinapalabas yung stool. Okay? That is why most of the preparation ng antacid with magnesium hydroxide kino-combine with aluminum-containing compound. Kasi yung aluminum, yung side effect niya is constipation naman. Okay? So, yung mnemonics natin dyan is alaktae naman. Alaktae for aluminum para matandaan yung side effect niya. Na constipation, tandaan lang yung alaktae. Alaktae, so meaning walang increase of bowel movement, constipation yung side effect. Okay, so yan yung reason, rationale behind. Yan yung rationale behind bakit kino-combine yung aluminum hydroxide, magnesium hydroxide in some of the preparations, most of the preparations ng antacids to balance the intended na mga drawbacks or side effects. Okay? Next, for magnesium. Ayan. Sige, erase ko ha. Oh, ito, example to ng preparation containing magnesium carbonate. Okay? So, kung titingnan mo ulit yung preparation under the brand name Aluminox, diba? Aluminox, combination din siya ng aluminum tsaka magnesium. Or yung magnesium in a form of carbonate. So, common name ng magnesium carbonate, okay, mineral magnesite, yung last recent slide lang, diba? Mineral sources ng magnesium ay yun, yung magnesite. Another name niya is magnesia dolomite. Dolomite, particularly, yung dolomite kasi mayroong magnesium carbonate, kaya nilagay siya dito. Okay. So, for its uses, carbonating agent siya. Pwede siyang source of carbonate, ion. Okay. Particularly, common use niya is anti-acid. Anti-acid. Tandaan ha, basta anti-acid, basic sila. Basic sila in character. Gina-neutralize nila yung stomach acidity. So, tandaan ulit, if solo use ang magnesium carbonate, wala siyang kasamang other compound, meron siyang diarrhea na side effect. Kaya may nakalagay dito laxative. Pero since most of the preparations ng magnesium containing compound as antacid, meron naman siyang kasama na aluminum, mababalance, maka-counteract. Okay? Yung mga drawbacks nila together. Okay? Next, proceed naman tayo sa magnesium chloride tsaka magnesium gluconate. Ayan. Magnesium chloride and magnesium gluconate. Yung magnesium chloride and gluconate, the same with potassium chloride, potassium gluconate, sodium chloride, sodium gluconate, mga electrolyte replenisher din sila. Particularly, anong electrolyte ang ilahang gina-replenish, ilang gina-rehydrate? Magnesium. Magnesium. Okay? Pag sinabing potassium chloride yan, electrolyte replenisher din, pero ano yung nire-replenish? Potassium ion. Pag sodium chloride yan, sodium gluconate, yung nire-replenish naman, sodium ion. Okay? So, yan yung ibig sabihin ng names ng mga electrolyte replenisher. Kung ano yung interest, okay? Ano yung ion of interest to replenish aphysiological, deficient na physiological ion, okay, yan yung gina-resupply. Okay, yan yung gina-rehydrate. Okay, so for magnesium chloride, magnesium gluconate, electrolyte replenisher. It rehydrates, it supplies lacking magnesium ion electrolyte in the body. Between the two, sino yung less irritating? Less irritating na electrolyte replenisher, gluconate. So the same concept with sodium chloride, sodium gluconate, less irritating yung gluconate. Okay, yung gluconate salts. Next. Ayan. Magnesium citrate. Okay? Magnesium citrate. This is also known as limonada, purganti. Uses niya, obviously, this compound is a strong laxative. This is a strong laxative. That is due to its magnesium ion plus meron pang citrate ion present. So, cathartic siya. So, ganun pa rin nag-i-increase ng bowel movement. Magtae pa rin. So, this is an example of a preparation ng magnesium citrate. Saline laxative, a strong laxative one. Okay? So, when you study, tingnan niyo yung mga compounds, other compounds na may laxative effect. Sa sodium, ano yung may mga laxative effect? Sa potassium. Kasi baka yung question, the following is or are compounds with laxative effect, except. So, parang ganun. So, i-apply niyo yung way ko how I construct my questions so, during sa exam. So, ayan. Then, proceed tayo sa magnesium hydroxide. May magnesium hydroxide naman, common names niya is milk of magnesia. MOM, so mom, or magnesia, magma. Okay, yan yung other names ng magnesium hydroxide. So, uses ulit, magnesium hydroxide. Yung kaka-introduce ko lang kanina sa magaldrate. Si magaldrate lang, combination ng magnesium tsaka aluminum hydroxides. Yung magnesium hydroxide, therefore, isa din siyang antacid. So, present siya doon sa magaldrate. Present din siya sa some of the most common na mga anti-acids. So, example, si Kreml S. Di ba, Kreml S na plain, yung kulay pink. Okay? Then, yung Kreml S na advanced, merong magnesium hydroxide. So, ulit, kapag solo use ng magnesium hydroxide, meron siyang diarrhea na side effect. But with this kind of preparation, since combination naman siya with aluminum hydroxide, okay, or calcium carbonate, meron pa ring magbabalance ng drawback ng anti-acid na magnesium hydroxide. Aluminum constipation yung side effect niya. Aluminum hydroxide in particular. If used as antacid, constipation yung side effect. So, balance yung side effect. Okay, for the Kreml S advanced, kung titingnan nyo, may substitute na sa aluminum hydroxide. Hindi na aluminum hydroxide yung kasama ni magnesium hydroxide. Calcium carbonate na ganun din. Calcium carbonates, iyahang side effect, iyang drawback as an antacid, constipation. Tandaan nyo lang, calcium carbonate, letter C. Letter C. CC, constipation. Okay? Aluminum alatae. Magnesium magtae. Okay? So, nababalance pa rin yung drawbacks. Okay? Or playbacks ng mga particular substances, inorganic substances. Okay, so meron ng difference sa Kreml S advanced saka sa Kreml S plain. Siyempre, yung advanced, much more higher, much more potent siya. Very, siya for heartburn. Diba? For Kreml S plain, yung simpleng pagtaas ng acidity sa stomach natin, hyperacidity, pwede yan. Yung Kreml S advanced kasi, meron na siyang particular drug. Okay? That will really alter a particular protein in our body. Okay? Yung famotidine. Okay? Tandaan nyo lang, famotidine isa siyang histamine 2 blocker. Okay? Histamine 2 blocker. Ganito na lang. At least may idea kayo. Binablock niya lang yung yung endogenous compound natin na histamine. Yung histamine kasi sa body natin, nagpapataas ng acidity sa stomach. Again, yung histamine sa body natin, in the stomach in particular, yung action niya, pinapataas niya yung acid level ng stomach. Therefore, yung gagawin ni famotidine, binablock niya yung histamine receptor. Okay? Binablock niya yung histamine receptor. So, somehow, maka-counteract, dinedecrease niya yung acidity ngayon ng stomach via blocking the histamine receptor. So, ayan. So, advanced siya. Kreml is advanced siya. Kasi nga, higher potent or much more potent ang isang preparation na to compared to the Kreml is plain. Ayan. So again, both are antacids. Both are antacids. Okay? They neutralize the stomach acidity. Ayan. Then we also have, okay, yan naman, another preparation ng magnesium hydroxide containing na compound. Kung i-compare mo sa Kreml S, di ba yung Maalox Plus, the same lang ang ilahang generic name. The same generic name, the same generic name. Magkaiba lang yung brand name. Basta the same ang generic name, tsaka yung dosage ng gamot, parehas lang yung effect niyan. Okay? Yung generic name, kung parehas lang with the dosage, same effect yan. Okay? Then we also have magnesium magma. Magnesium magma na preparation, yan ay isang suspension. Ginagamit yan as laxative. Sabi nga, di ba? Basta solo use. Magnesium magma kasi is only magnesium hydroxide. Di ba sabi dyan? Magnesium hydroxide, also known as magnesium magma or the milk of magnesia. Milk of magnesia, solo use of magnesium containing compound, laxative. Okay, magtae. So most of the preparation available in the market, commercially marketed, okay, naka-blue bottle sila. Naka-blue bottle. Walang, walang reason bakit blue bottle aside from for aesthetic purposes. Okay, for aesthetic purposes lang. Ayan. So, suspension form siya, laxative yung effect. So, pabalik-balik lang, di ba, yung activity ng mga magnesium-containing compound. Kung hindi antacid, laxative. Okay, kung hindi antacid, laxative. Ayan. Next is, magnesium oxide. Okay, for magnesium oxide naman, which is also known as light magnesia, calcined magnesia, meron din tayong preparation ng magnesium oxide na antacid, pero yung pinaka-common pa rin na ginagamit na form ng magnesium, okay, is yung hydrated form ng oxide. Hydrated form ng oxide, which is the magnesium hydroxide. Okay? Excuse me. Then, ayan. So again, if antacid uses antacid, laxative yung activity. Ayan. Then take note, component siya ng universal antidote. Again, component siya ng universal antidote. Universal antidote, ginagamit yan as antidote for any form of poisoning. Okay? Kahit unknown yung poisoning, any kind of poisoning, okay, or poison that has been taken in our body, yan yung use ng universal antidote. Okay, ano yung component ng universal antidote aside from magnesium oxide? Aside from magnesium oxide, it also contains tannic acid and activated charcoal. Yung use ni magnesium oxide dyan, siya yung base dyan as catalyst or siya yung base to neutralize the acid present. The acid present in the preparation. Okay? Yung tannic acid naman dyan, yung ginagawa niya, di ba, kina-convert niya yung poison. Paano niya kina-convert yung poison? Kina-convert niya via precipitating proteins. Okay? Yan yung ginagawa niya. Pina-precipitate niya yung proteins. Yan kasi yung use sa mga tannins. Okay? na-precipitate niya yung proteins. Yung activated charcoal, very important yung activated charcoal as component ng universal antidote. Yung ginagawa kasi ng activated charcoal, hindi yan absorb ha. Add yan, add. Ayan. Adsorb. Paki-correct na lang. Adsorb. It adsorb the toxins. Okay? Or the poison, not absorb. Hindi po wrong to. Mali to. Ayan. Add. Kundi adsorb. Magkaiba kasing absorb sa adsorb. Okay? So, adsorbent yung activated charcoal. Pag adsorb kasi, ano na lang, adsorb, it only adheres to the surface. Meaning, mag-accumulate lang siya sa surface ng toxin. Okay? Or a particular material. Okay, mag-adhere lang siya. Didikit lang siya sa surface. Example, ito yung material of interest or yung toxin. Yung activated charcoal, mag-a-adhere lang siya. Mag-a-adhere lang siya sa surface. Okay? Pero pag sinabing absorb, nag-penetrate na talaga sa surface. Okay? Penetrate sa surface. Ibig sabihin, talagang pumasok na, ayan, nag-penetrate na sa surface. Yung particular substance. Okay? Na-absorb. Okay? Murag ang principle sa absorb is kanang sponge. Ang panghugas plato, sponge. Okay, di ba? Kung imo na siyang butang tubig, ang tubig musunop gyud, mo penetrate gyud. Yan yung absorb. Pero pag adsorb lang, didikit lang siya, mag-accumulate lang siya sa surface, sa labas ng surface ng material. Okay? So yan yung components ng universal antidote. Okay, dissolve lang yan. 2:1:1. Okay? Yan. 2:1:1. Yan yung proper ratio. Okay? Starting with activated charcoal, di ba? 8 grams. 2 parts. Then 1 part ng tannic acid saka magnesium hydroxide. Ayan. So, yan yung preparation ng universal antidote. Pero ngayon, hindi na siya ginagamit. Hindi na siya masyadong ginagamit yung universal antidote. Kasi, di ba, pag sinabi kasing poison, iba-iba kasi yung klase ng poison. Tapos, pag na-poison ka, may mga complication, may mga symptoms na pwedeng ma-manifest ng isang patient. So, ngayon, yung ginagawa ng mga health professionals, yung binibigay sa mga tao na na-poison, is mga gamot to counteract complications. Okay? Yung ano kasi, activated charcoal, tannic acid, magnesium, kung titingnan mo yung mga uses nila, hindi naman nila kina-counteract yung mga symptoms. 'Di ba? Paano kapag nagka-seizure yung tao? Nahihirapan huminga with that particular poison. Kaya ba yan ng adsorbent power? Kaya ba yan ng mga precipitating protein? Di ba? Hindi. Okay, so no longer use siya na compound because of somehow little impact niya to treat a particular poison. Okay, so yan yung reason bakit hindi na siya masyadong ginagamit. Okay, then lastly, okay, erase na ko. Lastly is, for this slide, we have magnesium phosphate. Or this is also known as tribasic magnesium phosphate. Ang tribasic magnesium phosphate, bakit siya tinawag na tribasic? Based na siya sa iyahang chemical formula. Di ba kung isulat mo yung chemical formula niya, you'll form or you will produce a tertiary salt of magnesium. That is because of the ion charge ng phosphate. Okay, that's why tribasic magnesium phosphate. So, antacid siya. Knowing na nagpo-form siya ng tribasic salt. Okay, very basic na salt. Then again, if used as antacid, solo use, laxative, diarrhea yung side effect. Okay, next. Ayan, magnesium salicylate. For magnesium salicylate, Yung compound, obviously, this exhibits anti-inflammatory drug. That is because of the presence of salicylate ion. Okay, yung salicylate dyan, ng compound of magnesium salicylate, yan yung reason bakit yung compound exhibits anti-inflammatory property. So, i-relate lang natin to sa compound na aspirin. Yung aspirin, kailan niya tatag aspirin, yung acetyl salicylic acid. So, may salicylate pa rin yan. Salicylate salt. Any salicylate containing compound that is classified as anti-inflammatory. And aspirin is an anti-inflammatory, di ba? Yan yung standard. Anti-inflam. Okay? Kumbaga prototype na anti-inflammatory para sa mga swelling, pain, redness. Okay? So, yan yung gamit ng anti-inflammatory. So, any compound containing salicylate, anti-inflammatory siya. Then, magnesium sulfate, excuse me, this is also known as Epsom salt, bitter salt. Uses niya, very common use niya is as anticonvulsant. So, ayan, nasa vial. Okay, contained in a vial. Okay, so anticonvulsant siya. Take note, one of the compound magnesium, which is magnesium sulfate, which has very important pharmaceutical usage, is its anticonvulsant activity. Again, ito yung example, ito yung isa sa mga very important compound ng magnesium na may pharmaceutical use. And yung use na yon is as anticonvulsant. Okay? And take note, sabi kanina sa introduction ng mga magnesium ion, meron siyang anticonvulsant activity or depressant action if administered parenterally, if administered intramuscularly. Okay? So, ibig sabihin ng anticonvulsant ulit ha, yung drug or medication, pwede siya to treat convulsive seizure. Diba? Convulsion, seizure, or epileptic attacks. Okay? Ang ginagawa kasi niya is dinedepress niya yung CNS or central nervous system actions. Okay? Kaya nakalagay dito, diba? Antidote siya for barium toxicity. Okay, antidote siya for barium toxicity. Pakidelete yung barbiturate toxicity. Okay, barium lang yan. Barium toxicity. During barium toxicity, ang common manifestation, ang very common clinical presentation yun ng mga patient poisoned with barium, nagkakaroon sila ng neurological symptoms. Example, nagkakaroon ng seizures, nagkakaroon ng tremors. Okay? So, with that, pwede gamitin yung magnesium sulfate kasi may anticonvulsant, anti-seizure effect yung magnesium sulfate. So, pwede niya maka-counteract yung mga clinical manifestation, clinical presentation of a patient poisoned with barium. Okay? Also, ayan. Also, please take note na aside from pwede siya sa barium poisoning, yung magnesium sulfate as anticonvulsant, because of its anticonvulsant property also, pwede siya for the treatment of eclampsia. Again, pwede siya for the treatment of eclampsia. Okay? Okay. Regarding eclampsia or pre-eclampsia, syempre, bago yung eclampsia, may pre-eclampsia. Okay, ano ba yung pre-eclampsia? Condition yan that affects some pregnant women. So, among pregnant women siya nga cases ha. Usually during the second half ng pregnancy. Pag sinabing second half, di ba? Mga 20 weeks, around 20 weeks ay ang pregnancy period. Or even immediately after delivery of the baby, pwede siya magkaroon ng condition nito. Pero hindi lahat ha. Hindi lahat ng pregnant women dadaan sa pre-eclampsia. Ano ba yung pre-eclampsia? Kailan ba ito nangyayari? Nangyayari to sa mga pregnant women having hypertension. Okay? At the beginning of pregnancy. Okay? Ibig sabihin, wala siyang history nung hindi pa siya nabuntis. Okay? Wala siyang history of having hypertension. Diba hypertension, taas yung blood pressure. Elevated, high blood pressure. Yan yung hypertension. So, pag positive or meron siyang hypertension at the beginning of pregnancy, wala siyang history ng hypertension right before sa pregnancy. Nagka-hypertension lang sa during pregnancy period. Plus may presence of fluid retention. May presence ng fluid retention or this is manifested by edema. Pag edema, nagkakaroon ng abnormal serous fluid retention sa mga tissues. Plus, may albuminuria. Okay? Ito yung mga presentation, clinical presentation ng pregnant woman with pre-eclampsia. With pre-eclampsia, meron siyang hypertension at the beginning of pregnancy period. Plus, may fluid retention or edema. Plus, may albuminuria. Albuminuria, you can just understand what is the meaning of albuminuria based on its term, di ba? Albumin, yan ay isang klaseng protein in the blood. Protein siya in the blood. Urea, from the word ihe. Ibig sabihin na iihe. Ibig sabihin ng urea, ihe. So, naiihe, napupunta sa ihe, sa urine yung albumin. Okay, so positive. Ngayon, if this condition cannot be monitored, hindi siya gipasagdanrang, hindi siya controlled, hindi siya kontrolado yung condition na to, it is not being treated, it can lead to severe cases ng hypertensive emergencies. So most probably, this could lead to eclampsia. Okay? That could lead to eclampsia. Now, ano yung eclampsia ngayon? Ganito pa rin, ganyan, may hypertension, may fluid retention, albuminuria, plus may seizure. Okay? Merong seizure. Basta eclampsia. Therefore, treatment dito, since may seizure, treatment dito for eclampsia is magnesium sulfate. Kasi nga si magnesium sulfate, this is used as anticonvulsant administered intramuscularly. Take note ha, yung mga magnesium compound, example, particularly magnesium sulfate, when administered intramuscularly, parenterally, yung activity niya is depressant or anticonvulsant. Okay? Now, also, aside from this action ng magnesium sulfate, another use of this compound, magnesium sulfate, this is applied topically. So, natay topical preparation ng magnesium sulfate, and that is used to treat what we call, dire lang ako isulat. This is used to treat erysipelas. Okay, erysipelas, yan ay isang bacterial infection sa skin. Okay, bacterial infection siya sa upper layer ng skin. Of course, that is caused by a streptococci bacteria. Okay, streptococci bacteria, erysipelas. Ayan. So, nakakoy illustration dere of a person with erysipelas. So, yan yung manifestation of a person having a bacterial infection caused by streptococci bacteria sa upper layer ng skin. Yan yung erysipelas. So, yung magnesium sulfate, topical application, of course, this is applied directly to the skin. Okay, this is applied topically. Okay, for the treatment of that particular skin infection. Okay, so yung gagawin ng magnesium sulfate, syempre hindi as anticonvulsant, hindi as antacid, hindi as laxative. Si magnesium sulfate kasi, that is used as cold compress. Ginagamit siya as cold compress to enhance wound healing. Okay? Cold compress yung action naman ngayon ni magnesium sulfate when used to treat erysipelas. Okay? Cold compress siya to speed up wound healing. Okay? And lastly, ayan, meron din tayong, okay, capsule form. Capsule form ng magnesium sulfate. So, kung capsule form, syempre, administered orally. So, again, pag by mouth, per orem, by mouth, cathartic, laxative yung effect niya. Ito, example to ng dietary supplement. Dietary supplement na may laxative activity, magnesium sulfate or Epsom salt. Okay, so tandaan lang, pag magnesium sulfate orally taken, magtae. Pag parenterally administered depressant, anti-convulsant, and sobrang dami niyang use. Una na doon, barium poisoning. Okay? Also, for the treatment of eclampsia, then topical. Kung topically applied, pwede siya for erysipelas. Okay, yan yung for magnesium sulfate. Then we have magnesium trisilicate. Okay, magnesium trisilicate naman, ayan, combination naman yan ng, okay, tingnan yung chemical formula, combination siya ng magnesium oxide and silicon dioxide. So, antacid din siya, antacid. And take note, ginagamit siya as pharmaceutical excipient. So, ginagamit siya in making liquid preparation medication. So, gelling agent siya. Gelling agent. Gelling agent, ibig sabihin, pang-pa-gel, di ba? Sa solution form, gina-add siya sa liquid preparation to add thickness to the texture of the liquid. So, gina-enhance niya yung viscosity ng substance. Okay? So, ito yung example preparation ng magnesium silicate as anti-acid naman. Okay? As an anti-acid. Okay, proceed tayo sa talc or talcum. Proceed naman tayo sa talc or talcum. Hydrated magnesium silicate. O, yan yung talc or talcum. Purified na talc. Soapstone. Okay, also known as soapstone. Okay, this is considered as the softest. Okay, softest softest mineral known. Okay, that is based on the Mohs scale of mineral hardness. Again, based on Mohs scale. On Mohs scale. Okay, ayan. For mineral hardness. Ayan. So, yan yung softest mineral known. Yung Mohs scale kasi, yan yung scale characterizing scratch resistance ng various minerals through ability ng harder material to scratch a softer minerals. Therefore, yung method niya, kumbaga, yung method niya for comparing hardness ng mineral is via scratching, via observing the minerals, which minerals can scratch other minerals. So, yan yung basihan niya to identify sino yung softest, sino yung hard. Okay? So, again, pinaka-softest mineral known is yung talc. Okay, that is followed by gypsum. Ayan, gypsum. Then, calcite. Then, fluorite. Okay. Then, apatite. Then, followed by feldspar. Then, quartz. Then, topaz. Then, coronium. And, of course, pinaka-hardest mineral known is, yes, diamond. Okay, diamond. So, yan yung, base niya sa Mohs scale, ha. Ito yung order ng mineral based on their softness and hardness, from softest to hardness. Okay? Yung order nito based on Mohs scale, based on Mohs scale. So uses ng talc, ayan. Use ng talc, adsorbent. Okay? So just take note of the following. Adsorbent, filtering agent, clarifying, dusting. Rather, pag sinabing clarifying agent, it aids to the removal. It aids on the removal of suspended solids in liquids. Okay? It aids in the removal ng mga nakasuspend na solid in a liquid preparation. Then dusting powder, meron siyang ability to absorb moisture. Yan yung dusting powder. Okay? Because of its very fine na texture, yung talc kasi very soft, di ba siya? Okay? So, dahil very fine yung texture niya, meron siyang ability to absorb moisture. So, ito yung powder talc. Powdered talc. Pag purified talc, yan yung component ng Johnson's baby powder. Ayan. Next, magnesium perchlorate. This is simply used as a drying agent. The same with sodium sulfate, isang drying agent. Then, last slide, magnesium stearate. This is a very essential pharmaceutical excipient. Okay, so inactive siya na agent used as lubricant. Okay, in the production of capsules, in the production of tablets, in the production of powders. Okay? Pag lubricant kasi, gina-considered siya as flow agent. Pag sinabing flow agent, ina-enhance niya yung flow. It can prevent the individual ingredients ng capsule from sticking to each other. So, yan yung purpose ng lubricant. Magnesium stearate, tandaan nyo ha, very important yan, na pharmaceutical excipient in the preparation of capsule, tablets, powders. Then, magnesium mixture. Magnesium mixture naman, this is composed of the following: magnesium chloride, ammonium chloride, ammonia. This is used for qualitative testing. Okay, ginagamit siya to test or detect presence of arsenic. Particularly, yung form ng arsenic 3+, the arsenate. Diba, arsenate is AsO4, 3-, then arsenite less than 1 less oxygen, AsO3, then 3-. Ayan. So with arsenate, okay, if added with magnesium mixture, magnesia mixture, added with magnesium mixture, it will form white precipitate. But with arsenite, it do not form white precipitate. Okay, it do not form white precipitate. Ayan. Then lastly, flashlight powders. Flashlight powders, before, ginagamit to, okay, sa, ayan, in taking photographs before, yung sinaunang camera, okay, for photography before, ginagamitan nila ng flashlight powders, mixture of potassium chlorate, barium peroxide, and a powdered magnesium. Okay, so component siya ng flashlight powders. That will help. This is very important before in flash photography. Parehaan na sa illustration, flash photography. For the purpose of producing a flash. Kaya sa una, wala mag-flash. Kaya hindi pa rin karon, di ba? Automated na. So, very important yung flashlight powders. Okay, nila-light up na nila to produce a flash, artificial light. Okay, para mag-illuminate sa scene being captured.